If I look over to my right, it's because I have a PDF with all the information, the timeline of things. Thankfully though, I am telling you guys my journey about something that I love with my whole heart. This is my 1 year figure skating progress video, where I went from an absolute beginner to my first competition and winning gold in 1 year. I want to start off by saying that you absolutely do not have to compete. My progress is also not fast progress, whatever fast is. Just as a little backstory as to why I decided to go skating, I took Snowplow Sam when I was 10. This is a core memory for me because as much as I loved it and wanted to continue, I was 10 years old in Snowplow Sam. I was probably the oldest there. I was very shy with starting later at 10 years old. I had bought my boots in December of 2023. It wasn't until 5 months later, when I was a senior in high school with 1 class per semester and a lot of free time, I decided to just go to the rink and sign up for classes. Luckily, this was 1 week before Learn to Skate started back up again. A week later, I was on the ice. Swizzles were my favorite thing to do ever. Dips were also very fun. I thought I would never get 1 foot glides down. Like from the get-go, there were some skills where I just never thought I could ever pass. I still hadn't found that proper balance you need to be on a blade, so I always kind of like shifted. I swear if you look at videos of me trying to practice my 1 foot glides, I am curved. I also couldn't stop, but you know, that's adult one for you. This month I actually ended up kind of pulling myself into a 2 foot spin. However, this was just the beginning and I knew it was not good, but they were very fun to try. Because I was relatively comfortable with dips, I ended up practicing different arm positions, just trying to not get bored on the ice. Backward skating was not terrifying to me at all. I was as comfortable with it as I was skating forwards. As you can see though, I bend forward too much, so I relied on my hips to hinge forward. Honestly, I have very good memories of Learn to Skate 1. In June, I had started practicing my chassés. They were not graceful at all. However, I did like them better than 2 foot turns. Oh my gosh, to this day I still do not like 2 foot turns. I could never fully rotate. This honestly had depleted my confidence a little bit. I felt like everyone else in my level was getting it right away. It was kind of like second nature. As they say, your knees are never as bent as you think they are, so that's what's happening here. And since day one, I've always been a spin girly. I prefer practicing on my spins, even though I was never formally taught here yet. They were still very enjoyable. Doing 2 foot spins became my safe move for the next few months. Whenever I felt bored or a little stuck on a move that I was doing, I would just put myself around and take a little break. Time skip to August. I'm not sure why I don't have much content of me from these months. I'm pretty sure this is because Learn to Skate was either 6 or 7 weeks long, so it was definitely one of the longer sessions. So I still practicing those same skills. In August though, I had actually made my first friend. Weirdly though, he was not from the state and he was just there on an internship and I'm pretty sure just passing through the town. So I haven't seen him since then and I don't think I'll ever see him. The sense of community that washed over me at that time was kind of unexplainable. It was one of those instances where you just bond with someone who's in the similar situation as you. It was purely circumstantial, honestly. After this, I was devoted to making friends at the rink because I realized it actually makes skating a lot of fun. To this day, I still struggle with that a little bit. There are some people I would love to talk to, but it's a little bit scary when you still consider yourself a beginner. A little time skip to September, I started learning crossovers. Now these weren't hard necessarily, but it was the first skill where I had a terrible mental block because I felt like I was gonna die. It took me a while to really warm up to the idea of crossovers, and that is considering I started learning them a level early. I don't know. My left over right is the side that I am terrible at. I still am a little bit stiff at them. They're definitely better though. But back then, you could see how blocky I am. I didn't have much speed or control over them. Every time I did them, I always went into the circle and never really stayed on that red line. Every time I did end up doing crossovers though, it was a win for me because it takes a lot for me to do something I'm scared of on the ice. My 1 foot glide was pretty solid, and I also liked fooling around with my edges and my toe pick, as well as rippling the ice. Now here comes November. Now this didn't really have to do much with my skills, more so the program that we did. So November, I had actually signed up with 2 other girls to do the Nutcracker at my rink. We were put as the Christmas tree dance. We did our best, and this was one of those eras where I made a lot of progress outside of Learn to Skate and made a ton of memories. That being said, I wasn't focused on my skating skills, so I progressed weirdly. Like, I could do spirals and bunny hops, but 2-foot spins were nowhere near my radar. My first spiral though, it was terrible, but it did end up getting better in, I'd say, 2 weeks. During this month, I had also been doing my crossovers for hours on end, so they really developed. I'd even started doing backwards crossovers, and those I had actually started myself. Back to the Nutcracker program, it was 3 minutes of interesting stroking. Very fun, very easy to execute, but it was hard to give it that pizzazz. It was also the first time I had practiced any program at my rink, so it was definitely hard getting used to having music blare all over the speakers and you just taking up the ice. That is not something I was used to. Now in December, I did my first lunge. I was going to the rink maybe 3-4 times a week for the entire public sessions, which were very crowded, and it was very hard to do what we needed to do for the program. After the Nutcracker, I took, I'd say, a 2-week break, maybe for the rest of the month even, because I was skated out. I went to the rink so many times. I'd been there at one point for maybe 9 hours. I wasn't burnt out, but I definitely felt like I just needed to relax. I was also a first-year college student at the time in my first semester, so this was also after final exams. In January, I went back on the ice and had a little dip update. I started outside 3 turns, which were actually quite difficult for me. I think 10 minutes after saying, oh my god, I'm never gonna get these on camera, I got it. That was kind of an instant lesson for me. Just try, you'll get it at some point. I was debating getting a private coach at this time because I still hadn't been taught spins and I really wanted to do them. Learn to Skate was just a little bit too slow for me. In February, my crossovers felt worse than what they were, but also in this time, my blades hadn't been sharpened since I'd say August. I was also working on mohawks, which were quite difficult for me. I just like to be a little bit dramatic. I digress, mohawks are still very hard. I also did get a private coach and she taught me my waltz jump. Now, previously I had thought, oh no, I can do jumps. Right. I was more scared of them than I thought I would be. And for a minute there, I refused to do them off the wall. I also have a little baby power pole right here. And a little coffee grinder. Now back to the waltz jump. Refusing to do them off the wall would be my biggest setback, and I do regret it. This is your sign to do it even if you're scared. Now in March, I have a little waltz update. I think this was the first time I had done them off the wall alone. Previously, I had only done them off the wall with my coach, so that was a major step up. Now, fun fact, up to this point, I had fallen maybe 3 times in total. Mind you, this was month 9. I didn't know what falling felt like. I didn't know what being close to the ice felt like. I got over it now though. In March, my 1-foot spins had started looking pretty solid. You could tell that I was a little bit scared of them. Specifically, scared of going fast. And surprise! I signed up for a competition! I decided to compete in Adult 4 because I had a lot of older people at the rink tell me that it is best to start competing as soon as you can because it really will help you in the long run. It's like learning how to walk before you run, you know? Forward crossovers are in Adult 4, so I had started doing them for hours on end again, which were fun. I really like crossovers. I had also started just messing around at the rink with a few of my friends. This is an update on my outside 3 turns. They were much easier for me and actually quite fun for me to do. I used them to warm up my inside 3 turns, which were also a struggle. Every move is a struggle when you first learn it, so I'm giving myself some grace. More spirals, of course, because it's never a practice session if I don't do one. Or a dozen, you know, whatever I feel like. Now in April, I had stopped working on my skills again because I was focusing on my program. I decided to skate to We Go Down Together by Dove Cameron and 𝐞𝐦. Beautiful song. Every time I played it throughout the speakers, I got compliments from other skaters or other coaches, or even just my own coach raving about the song. In Learn to Skate, I got switched over to an adult coach, so I don't think I've clarified this, but I was taking private lessons and Learn to Skate at the same time. My Learn to Skate coach passed me through Learn to Skate Adult 6 and pre-free, so that was super cool. Here I have a 2-foot spin update and a wonky 1-foot spin. My 1-foots were very inconsistent. Sometimes I had amazing days which I never caught on camera, and other times they were interesting. Also, I was comfortable in the middle, which I never thought I would do. In this particular session, I was here alone, so I was just doing lunges and lunges to spirals, spirals to lunges. Ugh, I love it. I still hadn't been stretching off ice, so my spirals haven't really gotten any better, but they were still good. I struggled to get more rotations on my spins, but they were looking more comfortable, and I was also practicing my bunny hops just because I really wanted to be able to jump when I actually got to my waltz jump. So this is what my bunny hops were looking like, so my waltz jumps can look like this. Now you can see from my face that I still wasn't happy with them, but I was happy that I was actually doing them. I wanted to include May as well because this is the month where I compete. For the first half of the month, I was really just working on arm movements and making my moves more graceful on the ice, which in turn I decided to practice some drills to make sure I was flowy. This back swizzle drill in particular made sure that I wasn't stiff. I placed first. I got my skating dress from Amazon. Very basic. I've seen other people with it, but I was very happy with it. I cannot describe the feeling that I had when I put on that dress for the first time. Just thinking about it makes me... Now this was at my home rink, so it was very low stakes, but it was still fun nonetheless. I do want to make this clear. Skating is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I just wanted to give you guys an unfiltered insight on how I felt beginning skating as an older kid. At the time, I was 18. None of it has ever taken away from the happiness and strength and discipline that I've accumulated throughout these months. Don't hate me, but I absolutely forgot to film an outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns maybe, or want some advice on anything I can give you, don't hesitate to just plug it down below. It's currently October 1st, so it has been a few months. I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I'll see you guys later.